All right, let's dive into the world of hazardous waste inspectors.
Ooh,
We're
yes.
talking about protecting the environment
Yeah,
and making sure industries handle hazardous waste the right way.
very important.
You'd be out there inspecting sites, making
Mhm.
sure everyone's following the rules,
Those things safe.
maybe even leading cleanup projects.
That's right.
And the best part is,
What?
this job's in demand.
Yeah.
The Bureau of Labor Statistics projects 4% growth over the next decade.
That's awesome.
So this deep dive,
Yes.
think of it as your interview prep kit.
Aha.
We'll hit you with some tough questions,
Okay.
sprinkle in some career insights,
Sounds good.
and show you how RoleCatcher's AI can really help you personalize those answers.
Very cool.
Okay, so picture this. You're sitting across from the hiring manager,
Mm-hmm.
and they ask, can you describe your experience in hazardous waste management?
All right. So this is your first impression.
It is. How do you make it count?
Well, it's not just about listing your education or certifications.
So it's not just, I have a HazWalper cert.
Right. It's about telling a story.
Okay, so like what?
Like, did you have a really successful project? Or maybe you implemented a new program that reduced waste.
Or what about like a time you had to deal with a really difficult compliance issue?
Exactly. Something that shows you understand the regulations and you've actually applied them.
I like that. So instead of just saying, I have experience with HazWalper,
Right.
you could say something like, during my HazWalper training, that stands for Hazardous Waste Operations and Emergency Response, by the way.
A mouthful, I know.
It is. But you could say, during my training, I learned how to safely handle and transport all kinds of hazardous materials. And I even got to practice using different types of PPE.
Yeah. See, now you're painting a picture.
Right. You're showing them you've got the skills and the knowledge.
And that you're ready to hit the ground running.
Exactly. Now, what about this one? How do you ensure compliance with hazardous waste regulation?
Oh, they're definitely testing you with that one.
They are. It feels like they want to know you're not just book smart, but actually field ready.
Right. You got to show them you can walk the walk.
So how would you approach this one?
I'd start by mentioning specific strategies.
Like what? Give me an example.
Okay, so you could say something like, I would conduct regular audits to make sure everything's in order.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd also implement really strong training programs for employees.
So everyone knows what they're doing.
Exactly. And of course, meticulous record keeping is crucial.
Oh, absolutely. But don't stop there, right? You got to bring it to life with a real example.
Definitely. Like, tell them about a time when you had to deal with a compliance issue.
Ooh, I've got one. So in my previous role, we had this problem with labeling hazardous waste containers.
Oh, yeah, labeling can be tricky.
It was. People weren't consistent, and it was creating a safety hazard.
Yikes.
So I took charge and created a whole new training program.
Nice.
Not only did it clarify the procedures, but it also empowered employees to report any problems they saw.
That's smart.
It was. It really helped improve safety and compliance.
Love that.
Okay, now, for something a little more intense,
Ooh, hit me.
what steps do you take to ensure safety when handling hazardous waste?
Okay, yeah, this is big.
This one's all about showing them you're a safety champion.
Absolutely. You can't mess around when you're dealing with stuff that could harm people or the environment.
It's serious business.
It is. So you want to make sure you know all about personal protective equipment, like what to wear, when to wear it.
Yeah, all the different types of PPE.
Right. And you also need to know the proper procedures for handling and storing hazardous waste.
That's important.
And don't forget about emergency response plans.
In case something goes wrong.
Exactly. You got to be prepared for anything.
So they're really looking for someone who's proactive.
Definitely. Someone who takes safety seriously and is always thinking one step ahead.
Makes sense.
It does. Now, let's say they ask you, can you discuss your experience with hazardous waste sampling and testing?
Okay, so now we're getting technical.
We are. This is where you showcase those lab skills.
Ooh, I like it. So what should we tell our listeners to focus on here?
Be ready to talk about specific testing methods and the equipment you've used.
Okay, so if I've used gas chromatography to analyze volatile organic compounds, I should mention that.
Absolutely. And if you're familiar with atomic absorption spectroscopy for measuring heavy metals, bring that up too.
It's all about those specifics.
It is. The more details you can give, the better.
And hey, this is where RoleCatcher's AI can come in handy, right?
Oh, yeah. It can analyze the job description
Right.
and pick out those keywords they're looking for.
So you know exactly what skills to highlight.
It's like having a personal research assistant.
I love it. Okay, now let's talk disposal. How do you approach the disposal of hazardous waste?
All right, now we're getting into the nitty-gritty.
This one feels like it's about more than just knowing the methods,
You
right?
got it. You have to show them you understand the whole
That's a
process.
start to finish.
Right, and all the regulations
It's
involved.
like a big puzzle.
It is. So you got to show them you can put all the pieces together.
Okay, so walk me through it. What are the key things to mention?
Well, first off, you want to showcase your knowledge of different disposal methods.
Like incineration, landfilling, and recycling.
Exactly. But you also want to show that you understand the legal side of things.
Oh, right. All the permits and regulations?
Exactly. So you could say something like, based on what I know about the Resource Conservation and Recovery Act, that's RCRA, by the way,
Another mouthful.
I would first classify the waste based on its hazardous characteristics.
Okay.
Then I would find a licensed facility that's permitted to handle that specific type of waste.
Makes sense.
And of course, I'd make sure all the documentation is perfect, following the chain of custody procedures every step of the way.
Wow, that sounds impressive.
It's about showing them you understand the complexity of hazardous waste disposal.
I like it.
Okay, now, for a question that might make you sweat a little,
Oh no, what is it?
can you describe a time when you had to address a hazardous waste violation?
Ooh, yeah, that one's a bit nerve-wracking.
It is, but it's also a chance to shine. You can show them you can handle tough situations and make sure everyone follows the rules.
So it's about problem solving and leadership.
Exactly. This is where the STAR method comes in handy.
STAR method.
It stands for situation, task, action, result.
Right.
It helps you tell a compelling story without rambling.
Give me an example.
Okay, so you could say something like, during a routine inspection, I found that a facility was storing flammable liquids near an ignition source.
That's a big no-no.
It is. And it was a clear violation of fire safety regulations.
Oh, wow.
So I immediately told the site manager about it and explained the risk.
Good move.
Right. We worked together to move the materials to a safe location.
And I bet you did some follow-up inspections to make sure everything stayed in compliance.
Of course. You got to make sure the problem is solved for good.
That's a great example. It shows you're not afraid to take action and that you're committed to safety.
Exactly. And you know, it's really cool. RoleCatcher can analyze your STAR stories and give you feedback on how to make them even better.
Seriously?
Yeah. It's like having a personal interview coach in your pocket.
That's amazing. Technology is incredible.
It really is. All right, let's keep rolling with these questions.
Sounds good to me.
How about this one? Can you discuss your experience in hazardous waste transportation?
Oh, yeah, that's a tricky one.
It is. They're really digging into the logistics and the regulations.
Yeah, you got to know how to move this stuff safely.
Exactly. And that's where your knowledge of those DOT regulations comes in.
The Department of Transportation, right.
Yep. Those hazardous materials guidelines are crucial.
So if you've ever had to, like, choose a transportation method or vet a vendor, definitely mention that.
Absolutely. And if you've negotiated contracts for waste disposal, that's gold.
Yeah, that shows you understand the whole process.
It does. You want to demonstrate that you're thinking about safety every step of the way.
Not just getting the waste from point A to point B.
Right. You're thinking about the public, the environment, everything.
It's a big responsibility.
It is. And you might even mention different modes of transportation.
Like trucking, rail, air.
Exactly. Each one has its own set of regulations.
Makes sense.
It does. Now think about this. Have you ever had to deal with a transportation incident?
Oh, like a spill or a paperwork mistake.
Yeah, something like that.
That would definitely test your problem-solving skills.
It would. You got to think on your feet and stay calm under pressure.
Okay, let's switch gears a bit.
Sounds good.
How about this one? Can you discuss your experience in hazardous waste remediation?
Ah, the cleanup crew.
This is where you get to talk about cleaning up contaminated sites.
Right. If you've got that experience, this is your time to shine.
So think about specific projects, the technologies you use, the challenges you faced.
Yeah. Did you use soil vapor extraction to remove contaminants?
Or maybe bioremediation to break down hazardous substances.
Those are great examples. And remember, specifics are key.
Right. Don't just say, I have experience with remediation.
Nope. Tell them a story.
Like, I worked on this project where a former industrial site was contaminated with heavy metals, and we used a combination of excavation and stabilization techniques to clean it up.
Perfect. Now you're painting a picture.
And showing them you have the hands-on experience.
Exactly. Okay, ready for a tough one.
It hit me.
Can you discuss a time when you had to make a difficult decision related to hazardous waste management?
Ooh, that's a deep one.
It is. They're trying to gauge your judgment and your ethics.
So how do you tackle this one?
Well, first, you got to choose a situation that really shows your decision-making skills.
Like a time when you had to balance competing priorities.
Exactly. Maybe environmental protection versus cost effectiveness.
Or public safety versus regulation.
Oh, right. Walk them through your thought process.
Show them how you weighed the different factors.
And don't be afraid to mention the ethical considerations.
Right, because sometimes there's no easy answer.
Nope. Sometimes it's about finding the best solution in a difficult situation.
And this is where RoleCatcher's AI feedback can be super helpful.
Oh, yeah. It can analyze your responses and suggest improvements.
It's like having a mock interview with an expert.
Exactly. It can help you refine your answers and boost your confidence.
I love that. Okay, let's move on to another question.
Sure. What's next?
How do you stay up to date with changes in hazardous waste regulations and technologies?
Ooh, good one. This field is constantly evolving.
It is. So they want to see that you're committed to continuous learning,
Absolutely. This is your chance to talk about professional organizations.
like NEHI and AIAA.
Those are great examples. And mention any conferences you've attended, publications you read, online courses you've taken.
Anything that shows you're actively learning.
Exactly. And don't just list them off. Explain how they've helped you stay current.
So, I recently attended a webinar on the latest EPA regulations, and it helped me understand the new requirements for electronic manifests.
Perfect. You're showing them you're taking concrete steps to stay informed.
And guess what? RoleCatcher actually provides links to relevant resources.
Seriously.
Yeah, professional organizations, industry publications, it's all right there.
That's amazing. It's like a one-stop shop for hazardous waste knowledge.
It is. Speaking of resources, let's talk about the career guide.
Oh, yeah, that's a great resource.
It outlines 5 stages of a hazardous waste inspector's career.
From entry level to director.
Exactly. And it describes the responsibilities and skills needed at each level.
So an entry-level inspector might focus on assisting with inspections, collecting samples, learning the ropes.
And as you gain experience, you might move on to conducting independent inspections, managing projects, mentoring junior staff.
And eventually, you could be developing policies, managing budgets, advocating for regulatory changes.
It's amazing to see the growth potential in this field.
It is. And with growing environmental concerns, the demand for skilled professionals is only going to increase.
That's exciting. It's a great time to be in this field.
It is. Now let's jump back into those interview questions.
Okay, that sounds good.
How about this one? Can you describe a time when you had to address a hazardous waste violation?
Ooh, yeah, that's a classic.
It is. And remember, storytelling is key here.
Think back to a specific situation, the STAR method, all that good stuff.
Exactly. For example, you could say, during a site inspection, I noticed a leaking drum of corrosive chemicals, and it wasn't properly labeled.
That's a dangerous situation.
It is. So I immediately secured the area, notified the supervisor, and we worked together to contain the spill.
And I bet you also made sure the contaminated materials were disposed of properly.
Of course. And then I provided training to the employees on proper handling and labeling to prevent future incidents.
That's a great example. You identified the problem, took action, and implemented a solution.
And it shows you're proactive and committed to safety.
Exactly. And remember, RoleCatcher can give you feedback on your STAR stories.
That's right. It can help you refine your delivery and highlight those key skills.
Amazing. Okay, let's tackle another behavioral question.
All right, bring it on.
Can you discuss a time when you had to make a difficult decision related to hazardous waste management?
The ethical dilemma.
This is where they really want to see how you think.
They do. So think about a time when you had to balance different factors like cost, environmental impact, and safety.
And walk them through your decision-making process.
Exactly. Show them how you arrived at your final decision.
For example, you could say, I had to decide how to dispose of a large quantity of expired pesticides, and I had to weigh the costs and benefits of different methods.
That's a good start.
Yeah.
And then you'd explain how you consider different factors like incineration versus landfilling.
And how you ultimately chose the best option for the situation.
Right. You're demonstrating your ability to make tough calls.
And this is another area where RoleCatcher can help.
Oh, yeah. That video practice feature is awesome.
It's like having a personal coach who can analyze your body language and tone of voice.
And give you feedback on how to project confidence and professionalism.
I love it. Okay, let's switch gears to a more technical question.
Sounds good to me. What you got?
Can you discuss your experience with hazardous waste sampling and testing?
The lab coat comes out.
This is where you show off your technical skills.
Right. Be prepared to talk about different sampling methods, testing procedures, analytical techniques.
Like gas chromatography or atomic absorption spectroscopy.
Exactly. Share your experience with specific equipment and techniques to demonstrate your hands-on knowledge.
And don't forget to mention quality control and quality assurance.
Oh, that's important. You want to show them that you understand how to collect representative samples and ensure accurate results.
Right, you got to be precise and meticulous in this field.
Absolutely. Accuracy is everything when it comes to hazardous waste management.
Okay, now let's shift gears again.
Where are we headed?
Let's talk about career goals.
Oh, the big picture.
Imagine the hiring manager asks, "Where do you see yourself in 5 years?"
That's a classic.
It is, but it can be tricky to answer.
It can. You want to be honest and ambitious, but not too over the top.
Right, so how do you strike that balance?
Well, think about your career aspirations and how they align with the role in the company.
Maybe you want to specialize in a particular area or take on a leadership position.
Exactly. Share your vision for the future, but also emphasize your commitment to learning and growth.
So you could say something like, in 5 years, I see myself as a highly skilled hazardous waste inspector with a deep understanding of the latest regulations and technologies.
That's a good start. And then you could mention specific areas of interest like remediation or waste minimization.
And how you plan to achieve those goals through certifications or professional development.
Perfect. You're showing them that you're ambitious and driven.
And that you're in it for the long haul.
Exactly. You're passionate about this field and you're committed to making a difference.
And that's what employers are looking for.
They are. They want people who are dedicated to protecting the environment and ensuring public health.
It's a rewarding career path.
It is. And with the right tools and resources like RoleCatcher, you can achieve amazing things.
RoleCatcher can help you every step of the way, from prepping for interviews to advancing your career.
It's like having a personal career coach in your pocket.
I love it. All right, let's wrap up this section with a final thought.
Sure. What's on your mind?
I think it's important to remember that landing your dream job is not just about having the right skills and experience.
It's about passion, dedication, and a genuine desire to make a difference.
Exactly. Employers can sense that enthusiasm, and it makes all the difference.
It does. So to all our aspiring hazardous waste inspectors out there, embrace the challenges, stay curious, and keep learning.
And remember, RoleCatcher is here to support you every step of the way.
It's pretty amazing when you think about it.
What is?
The career path you can have as a hazardous waste inspector. I mean, you start with the basics, but then you can really, specialize.
Yeah, you could become an expert in a certain type of waste.
Exactly. Like pharmaceutical waste.
Or electronic waste.
Yeah. Or even focus on a specific industry.
Ooh, like manufacturing or healthcare.
Mm-hmm. There are so many options.
And with all the new technologies popping up,
Oh, for sure.
we might even see totally new jobs.
Right. Like, what about a hazardous waste data analyst?
Oh, that's a good one.
Or a sustainability compliance manager?
I like it.
Yeah.
It's cool to think about where this field is headed.
It is.
Yeah.
And you know what? With
What?
RoleCatcher, you'll be ready for anything.
Oh, absolutely. RoleCatcher is such a valuable tool.
It is. And I have to mention,
Yes.
the AI-powered CV and cover letter builder.
Oh, yeah. That thing is amazing.
It's like having a professional writer on your team.
It really is. It makes your application stand out.
It does. It highlights your skills and experience in a way that really grabs attention.
And it's not just about looking good.
Right.
RoleCatcher's AI actually analyzes the job description and finds those key words employers are looking for.
So you know you're hitting all the right notes.
Exactly. It's like a secret weapon for your job search.
It is. And it's so easy to use.
Super user-friendly.
You just put in your info, choose the job, and bam.
RoleCatcher takes care of the rest.
It's amazing what technology can do these days.
It really is. But even with all these tools,
Yeah.
I think it's important to remember
What's that?
that landing your dream job is about more than just tools.
Oh, definitely.
It's about showcasing your passion, your skills, your dedication.
You gotta show them you're the real deal.
Exactly. Employers want to see that you're genuinely interested in this field.
That you're committed to making a difference.
They want to see that spark.
That passion will shine through in your interviews, your CV, everything.
It will. So to all our aspiring hazardous waste inspectors out there,
Yes.
embrace the challenges, stay curious, and never stop learning.
And remember, RoleCatcher is your partner in all of this. It's here to help you every step of the way, from prepping for your first interview to building a successful career.
Well, that about wraps up our deep dive into the world of hazardous waste inspectors. We hope this has helped you feel more prepared and maybe even a little bit inspired.
This is a career where you can truly make a difference. You're protecting the environment, safeguarding public health, and ensuring a safer future for everyone.
So go out there ace those interviews, and embark on an exciting journey in the world of hazardous waste management.
And remember, the future of our planet is in your hands.
Until next time, stay curious, keep learning, and good luck.